First up, Russia has backed India, accusing the US of using illegal trade pressure. New Delhi has hit back at the US and EU criticism over its oil imports from Russia, calling the objections unjustified and inconsistent. It says that India's energy ties with Russia are vital for its national interest. Some experts question why similar pressure is not applied to others who continue to buy Russian oil in large volumes. Here's a detailed report.
India's Ministry of External Affairs defended its oil imports from Russia, calling the US and EU criticism unjustified. The response came after US President Donald Trump threatened to raise tariffs on India for importing Russian oil. India highlighted the hypocrisy of nations criticizing it, pointing out that both the EU and the US continue to trade with Russia despite opposing its actions. Russia has also slammed the US for exerting illegal trade pressure on India and other countries. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called such threats unlawful and a violation of a country's right to choose its trade partners.
We hear many statements that are in fact threats, attempts to force countries to cut trade relations with Russia. We do not consider such statements to be legal. We believe that sovereign countries should have and do have the right to choose their own trading partners for trade and economic cooperation, and to choose for themselves the forms of trade and economic cooperation that are in the interests of a particular nation.
The MEA, in its statement on Monday, explained that India's energy trade with Russia is vital for maintaining affordable energy prices for Indian consumers, especially after the Ukraine conflict diverted traditional oil supplies to Europe. The US had actively encouraged such imports from India to stabilize global energy markets. India also pointed out that the same nations criticizing it continue to trade with Russia. The EU, for example, had a bilateral trade worth 67.5 billion euros with Russia in 2024, in addition to 17.2 billion euros in services in 2023. This is significantly more than India's total trade with Russia during the same period. Moreover, Europe's imports of LNG in 2024 reached a record 16.5 million tons, surpassing 2022's record of 15.21 million tons.
The important question is India buying Russian crude oil illegitimately? Is it breaching the price cap? Is it buying sanctioned oil? There is no evidence of that happening. There is no one who's suggesting that India is breaching the price cap, that India is doing something illegal. Given that, I don't see why and how India can refuse to buy Russian oil forever.
India has faced continued pressure from the US and EU over its oil imports since the start of the Ukraine conflict. Experts believe that while tariffs may impact India's exports, they question why Trump isn't applying the same pressure on China, which buys Russian oil to the same extent. The US and EU criticisms are seen as inconsistent acts, particularly given their ongoing trade with Russia. Amid international pressure, India remains steadfast in maintaining its stance and protecting its national and economic interests. Bureau Report, DD India.